Shalom, Beth Messiah. Rabbi Derek here. It's Wednesday, May 3rd. I hope you all are having a great week. I wanted to come on and share some thoughts that I've had. I've been just thinking about and praying through and reading through Isaiah 62. If you were at our Shabbat service this past week, you heard announced that we are taking part in what is called the Isaiah 62 fast. It is a gathering of believers around the world, hundreds of thousands, with the goal of it being many millions of believers around the world who will intently pray for and fast on behalf of the salvation of Israel. I'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end, but I wanted to actually take a look at Isaiah chapter 62. We're going to read through the prophecy, and I've got some thoughts to share about that. You know, as a messianic community, it is our intention to pray for and support and be an intercessor on behalf of the people in the land of Israel, because that's, as we know throughout the scriptures, is God's heart. And it's been specially placed upon us to make that an emphasis in our ministry. So let's take a look at Isaiah 62. It's only 12 verses, but God is saying so much here through this. Here's what it says, Isaiah 62, starting in verse 1. For Zion's sake, I will not keep silent, and for Jerusalem's sake, I will not keep quiet, until her righteousness goes forth like brightness, and her salvation like a torch that is burning. You know, it's interesting. We have to remember that it's God speaking here. When God says, for Zion's sake, I will not keep silent, for Jerusalem's sake, I will not keep quiet. A lot of times we hear believers quote this and we make it like our own pledge, right? I'm going to pledge to not keep silent. In other words, I'm going to share the good news, share the gospel of Messiah, because we know that it's God's heart. But did you know that when we say that, we're using God's own words? He says that himself. He is resolute and he is proud of his plan for Israel. He's not keeping it quiet. He's not keeping it secret. He says, I will not keep silent. I will not keep quiet until the job is done, essentially, until her righteousness goes forth like brightness and her salvation like a torch that is burning. Verse 2, the nations will see your righteousness and all kings your glory, and you will be called by a new name, which the mouth of the Lord will designate. You will also be a crown of beauty in the hand of the Lord, and a royal headband in the hand of your God. Verse 4, it will no longer be said to you forsaken, nor to your land will it any longer be said desolate, but you will be called, my delight is in her, and your land married. For the Lord delights in you, and to him your land will be married. So if there's any ambiguity here, if we're wondering, how is this going to come to be? How is it that Israel will be so favored in the world, not just in the eyes of God? Meaning, God has never called Israel desolate or forsaken. That's what other peoples of the world have called Israel. And God's saying, no longer will you be called that. The world will recognize the beauty that you are and the place that you have in the hand of the Lord and so on. How is that going to be? Well, if we're wondering about that, the only way that this is possible is by the result. It's the result of the people of Israel recognizing that Yeshua is the Messiah. That's the salvation that is being referred to in verse 1. When Israel accepts, believes, and bows a knee in reverence to Messiah Yeshua, is when all of the transformation that's being referred to here will occur. And by the way, also in we didn't finish it. Verse 5, verse 4, and to him your land will be married. Verse 5, for as a young man marries a virgin, so your sons will marry you. And as the groom rejoices over the bride, so your God will rejoice over you. This is bridegroom language. It's very messianic. You know, we've throughout the apostolic scriptures, the New Testament, we talk about the body of believers, universal body of believers, being the bride of Messiah, and Messiah himself being the groom. We look forward to a day in the future where that marriage will be consummated, right? We'll be together with him forever. The scriptures alludes to a wedding feast of Messiah that's going to happen in the kingdom at the return of Messiah. It's wonderful, beautiful, intimate language. And here we see that same language being used by the Lord in Isaiah 62. Verse 6, on your walls, Jerusalem, I have appointed watchmen all day and all night. They will never keep silent. You who profess the Lord, take no rest for yourselves, and give him no rest until he establishes and makes Jerusalem an object of praise on the earth. So, watchmen on the walls, we hear that term probably used a lot. That is the calling that we have to intercede on behalf of Israel, to look out and see what is happening, to use the spiritual eyes, the wisdom and discernment that the Lord has given us to see the trends of the world, to see how the gospel can go forth, to make plans, to watch out, to protect, and to pray for, most importantly, to pray for the people in the land of Israel. He's called us as believers in Yeshua to do that. We get to be the watchmen on the walls. And he says, do so with no rest. Take no rest for yourselves, which sounds like a high calling, right? Anytime I do anything for long enough, I'm ready for a rest. But he says, take no rest for yourselves. That doesn't mean that he's going to wear us out. He's saying that this is to be just a regular part of our lives. And he matches that challenge in verse 7. Give him no rest. He's telling us to give him himself no rest until he establishes and makes Jerusalem an object of praise on the earth. In other words, continue to pray for the salvation of Israel, for the return of the Lord. He's saying, don't let me off the hook. Not that he would want to be off the hook, not that he's not going to fulfill those promises, because they're his promises. But he's saying, partner with him in this and don't let it go. Don't let it go. Verse 8, the Lord, I just wanted to say this also, that he is absolutely resolute here. He's saying, don't just do this for a while. I'm not just going to care about this for a while. I'm going to care about this and see it absolutely through. This is the top of his priority list. And the reason is because it's the culmination of all of his promises, right? Israel recognizing the Messiah is the link to all other future promises that God has for humanity and for all of creation. And that includes the Lord's return and the establishment of the kingdom. We read about it in Romans 11 and other places. This is crucial, absolutely crucial here. Okay, verse 8, the Lord has sworn by his right hand and by his mighty arm, I will never again give your grain as food for your enemies, nor will foreigners drink your new wine for which you have labored. But those who harvest it will eat and praise the Lord, and those who gather it will drink it in the courtyards of my sanctuary. So this it reminds me of garden language, right? Genesis 1 and 2. And in fact, this is a reverse of the garden consequences, right? In the fall of man, God says that the mankind will work the land by the sweat of their brow, right? It'll be work, it will be difficult, and creation will be fighting against us, essentially. But here we have just the opposite. We have a reestablishment of the garden, of abundance, of ease, of all of our needs being met. This is what we're looking forward to, right? So it's a reverse of the garden consequences, a reverse of having to work the land in hardship. It reminds me, of course, of Psalm chapter 30, verses 11 and 12 says, you have turned my mourning into dancing for me. You have untied my sackcloth and encircled me with joy, that my soul may sing praise to you and not be silent. Lord, my God, I will give thanks to you forever. He's transforming, right? Death to life, darkness to light, hardship into ease, right? Hunger into satisfaction. That's what he's promising the future will bring. Back to Isaiah 62, verse 10, go through the gates, clear a way for the people. Build up the highway, remove the stones, lift up a flag over the peoples. You know, earlier in Isaiah, I believe chapter 40, something similar is said. It is chapter 40, verses 3 through 5. In Isaiah 40, verses 3 through 5, there's prophecy about making a way straight for the Lord. Now here in Isaiah 62, it's saying make a way straight for the people. And we can link those two things together. Here's what it says in Isaiah 40, verses 3 through 5. The voice of one calling out, clear the way for the Lord in the wilderness. Make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Let every valley be lifted up and every mountain and hill be made low. and let the uneven ground become a plain and the rugged terrain a broad valley. He's saying, smooth it all out, right? Smooth it all out. Take away everything that could get in the way, everything that's going to make the way longer than it needs to be. Make it a straight path for the Lord. Then the glory of the Lord will be revealed, and all flesh will see it together, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken. So in Isaiah 40, we're talking about making a way for the Lord. Here in Isaiah 62, in verse 10, it's talking about making a way prepared for his people, right? So we make a way for the Lord to return. We're making a way for the people to come to him. Maybe it's the same way, right? I think they're meant to be linked together. But how do we do that? How do we make a way for the people to meet with the Lord? Well, we do that through the communication of the gospel. We do that through living out, being the transformation, being the image of love that God has made us to be through Messiah, right? We make the way for Israel to come to the Lord. That is our responsibility as the body of believers. It's very special. It's a wonderful honor. Let's finish up Isaiah 62, verses 11 and 12. Behold, the Lord has proclaimed to the ends of the earth, say to the daughter of Zion, behold, your salvation is coming. Behold, his reward is with him, and his compensation before him. And they will call them the holy people, the redeemed of the Lord. And you will be called sought out, a city not abandoned. That is the promise that makes the effort worthwhile. Why are we making a way for the people to meet the Lord? Why are we making a way for the Lord to come to the people? Why are we setting ourselves as watchmen of the wall and giving ourselves no rest and giving the Lord no rest in our intercession? Why? Because he intends to transform the people and the land to be what he always wanted them to be, what he always wanted all of humanity to be, his special possession, in intimate relationship with him. That's the calling that we have. Beginning this Sunday, May 7th, there is a worldwide initiative, and you can find details on Isaiah 62 fast, FAST.com. Isaiah 62, I think I said 52. Isaiah 62 fast.com. It's not hosted by any one group. It is a collection of different hubs, bodies of believers all over the world who are joining together for 3 straight weeks. So from May 7th to May 28th, people and organizations are devoting at least 1 hour a day to fast and pray on behalf of the salvation of Israel. We're not going to be doing special gatherings for that at Beth Messiah. We're leaving it up to individuals to just join in that however and whenever you see fit throughout your days. But I do encourage you, challenge yourself to fast and pray during those 3 weeks for an hour a day. I know that's a big ask, but we can do it. We can do it. And clearly the passage here, Isaiah 62, makes it worthwhile, right? Showing that the result of our prayer, if hundreds of thousands, millions of people are praying around the world all together through these 3 weeks, I believe we're going to see some remarkable things happen here. It's going to transform your own heart as you are aligning yourself with the purpose of God. It can transform our community and build up the foundation of our community, because this is the calling that God has for us as a Messianic community here in Virginia. And it is, of course, going to have effect among the lost sheep of the people of Israel, because that's what God is calling us to do, to intercede, to be watchmen on those walls. I hope that's an encouragement for you. I hope you do join us. Again, you can find more details about it on Isaiah62fast.com. I'm going to post not only a link to this devotional, but also a link to that website on BethMessiahSynagogue.com, so that you can just have an easy way to get there from our website. God bless you, and we will see you very soon. Shalom.